so I'm going to show like the stretching and warm-ups that I do before a competition or even before training. Usually I'm going to start with just getting the blood flowing, so just running around, running on the star jumps, split jumps, things like that, just to get warmed up quickly. And then I'll go straight into my stretching, so just a couple of minutes I'm getting the blood flowing. When I'm doing my stretching, it changes every time what I'm going to do, but I just think from head to toe, I'm going to just warm up everything in between, okay? My muscles, joints, just get everything moving a little bit. I'm not trying to be the most flexible person ever, but it's just about loosening all the different body parts off, okay? So the two main areas for me that I focus on are my lower back and my shoulders. Obviously everyone's going to be different, but mine is kind of heavily based around that. So I'm just going to show you what I do. So we'll start with the lower back. So the first one is just being on my back, have my knees rock side to side. Okay, this one's pretty important for me, just helps me loosen off. I'm making it slightly more difficult. I'm bringing my toes up to my hand. And these stretches I just hold for probably 30 seconds. I'm just going to show quickly what I do, but literally just 30 seconds, probably not much longer than that. It's just about loosening off for me. From here, sitting up, leg crossed over, elbow behind the knee. Then I want to kind of keep my shoulders back, turn to the side, keep my head up, and just hold this position again, probably 30 seconds. And I'll do both sides. And then finally, just to loosen off the lower back a little bit more, cat stretches. So my hands out in front, head up, belly button to the floor, then just keep reversing that position here. So this really helps me just loosen off my lower back and also starting to go into the middle of my back as well. So whilst I'm in this position, I stretch my wrists out, so just putting a bit of pressure on the backs of the wrists, both directions. Here, just rotate those out. Also my ankles as well, so just on the tops of my feet, just rolling side to side. And then another important one for me is warming the neck up. Obviously I know for training or for competition I'm going to do a lot of wrestling a lot of the time, so warming the neck up is really important. So the ones that I do most are firstly just literally loosening it off from here, looking side to side, so real basic ones, up and down, and then rotations across the back, in front. And then from here I'm going to do my neck rollouts, okay? So this one's, you need to just be careful with this one that you don't roll too far. So I'll start with my hands on the mat, head to the floor. I'll just roll from my forehead to the back of my head here. Okay, we can go side to side in this position as well, we just have to be careful not to put too much weight on. And then from here what we can do is build it up, so I can get onto my toes, doing the same thing, same movements, and then eventually hands behind my back, but not so much side to side movement with this one. It's nice and slow, forwards and backwards. And that will put enough pressure on my neck just to warm it up. Okay. And again, I'll probably just loosen it off now. There. Okay. So then getting into shoulders. So again from this position, start with my hands off in front. Just drop my head between my shoulders here. And then just hold this one again, probably for 30 seconds. Just allow my shoulders just to wake up a little bit. And then the main part of my shoulder warm-up, I use a stretchy band. Okay, these are pretty cheap to get hold of. You can get a hold of them online. Even if you've not got a band, you can still do the movements. Okay, I just like to have this as a little bit of resistance. But this has really sorted my shoulders out over the past probably, well, a couple of years really. I used to have a lot of shoulder problems, and using this band has pretty much got rid of all my problems and just made my shoulders a lot more flexible. So the quick routine that I do with this is we'll start with, I pretty much just do 10 of each little drill if you like. So to start with, just do my rotations here, Okay, and with the band I can loosen it off as much as I need to, or just wrap it if I want to go a little bit more resistance on that. So keep my arms nice and straight, just rotating in front and behind. And then we'll do 10 here in front, 10 behind, 10 press. Obviously I'm not doing 10 each time, but you get the idea. And then holding it at the hip. Okay, so my elbow is locked to my hip here. And just allow my shoulders to open up. Again, I'll do 10 each side normally. Okay, so that's the main things that I want to get sorted out, my lower back and my shoulders, okay, which obviously I've gone through. So I'll quickly just warm up the rest of my body now. So I start with my hip here, so we'll just do this S-mount position, just getting nice and low. And just hold that again, probably just for 30 seconds. So switching sides with that. And then my groin as well, so it's opening the groin up. So I like to be in this squat to begin with, and just use my elbows to push my knees apart. Again, probably about just 30 seconds on that one as well. And then we'll do the same thing. So I'm sitting here, just pull my heels in, and again, using my elbows. I keep my chest nice and proud again, try and keep my shoulders back. Head up. So again, probably just another 30 seconds on that. And moving on to the legs, so legs nice and wide here. Again, we're going to feel this on the groin again, inside of the hamstrings. So hold that for 30 seconds. Feet in front. And just trying to bring my stomach and my chest down to my knees, touch my toes. Okay, obviously, you just work with what you can, so if you're not that flexible, just go to your shins, ankles, touch the toes, okay, as far as you can get into that. But try not to hunch like this, okay? Try and bring my chest down, okay? Stretching out the backs of my legs there. And do the same thing. Just one leg at a time now, so I should just get a little bit deeper into this one. Again, probably 30 seconds each side. And then lastly on my back, just rolling my ankles, okay, just finish stretching off my ankles. And that is pretty much it, okay, so like I said, it's focusing on the two problem areas that I have, my shoulders and my lower back especially. Usually, like I said, I've got the blood flowing before I do this, so I've been running up and down or whatever it is, just to get the heart pumping a little bit. Then I do my stretches, and then usually if I'm going to compete, I haven't got that time to kind of wake the body up anymore. Like if it's training, then usually we're going to go on to techniques now, so we can keep moving around. But for competition a lot of the time, we're going to go straight into a hard match. So normally what will happen is I'll do some more dynamic movements. So I'll just quickly run through some of those that I do now as well. The first one I like to do is just have one leg out wide here, so I'm squatting on one side and then just moving side to side here. Okay, so as you start off with this, you can use your hands, okay, and trying to keep my heel flat on the floor. Come up nice and high, down the same other side. Okay, side to side here. So it's still a good stretch from my groin, but it's also starting to wake my legs up a little bit as well. Which obviously when you're getting into a competition, you know you're going to be using your legs for wrestling and you know, base and whatnot. So another one I like to use is split squats from here, okay? So starting from this position, I'm just going to jump, okay, opposite knee down here. Okay, you can do that for 10 or 20, whatever you want to do. Then lastly, I get into squats. So just fast squats here. Okay, I want the blood to start moving a bit faster now. Okay, so I've warmed up slightly, got my stretches in, and now I'm going to get ready for, like I say, walking straight onto the mats and getting straight into a competitive match. So that's my legs warmed up. So I'm just quickly get into just some push-ups. Okay, so real basic, just nice and fast. And again, it's up to you how you feel on that. I mean, I don't want to make myself tired, but at the same time, you know, you can hear my voice, I'm starting to lose my breath a little bit. So I want to get to that stage where when I walk onto the mats, I'm ready to go, ready to rock and roll. So that's pretty much it. The last thing I'll do is just warm up my stomach and my abs. I popped my rib a few years ago, so this is something, again, that I really focus on. So making sure that with jiu-jitsu, we're going to be doing a lot of kind of static holds a lot of the time. So I don't want to get into a position where I'm straining too much, then something just goes. So like I said, making sure that from head to toe that we're warmed up all the way through. So just, again, real basic stuff. So just simple sit-ups from here. So just 10 here, 10 again on the side, both sides. And then that is pretty much it. You should be warming up after that. Okay, ready for competition, or maybe that's just your workout for today. Okay, you wake up, you do that warm up, stretching, and then more dynamic warm up, and then you know you can make that into a workout as well.